Well, hello, you silly dinguses. It's pretty damn cold, isn't it? Well, I'm freezing anyway, but we're not here to talk about the cold. We're here to talk about Elizabeth Smart. By Grand Central Station, I sat down and wept. And from yesterday, I've learned that I should probably have something to drink. Because very dry mouth. Now, I'm going to get my flaps out of this book, my French flaps. Ooh. Calm yourselves, everyone. Calm yourselves. This is a kids channel, and we're on part 2. Again, I'm doing this for Bethan because her gran passed away from Alzheimer's. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please click the link down below to donate in memory of Bethan's gran. But let's start. Part 2. God, come down out of the eucalyptus tree outside my window and tell me who will drown in so much blood. Well, what an opening. That's a fun one, isn't it, buddies? I saw her face coming out of the dying geraniums. It was angular like the tears that should have blurred her prolonged torture. Her body cringed, waiting for the wound which swung in perpetual suspension above her. But her eyes pierced all the veils that protected my imagination against the ruinous knowledge to bleed me too in this catastrophic pool of birth. Is there no other channel of my deliverance except by her martyrdom? At first my eyes reported that they saw but gave no meaning to the sight. I had no communication with misery. By severing all the wires of understanding and functioned like a normal being, and went about among devastation without seeing that it was there. But who could be proof against that future ghost in the geraniums, holding pity like a time bomb in its look of agony? What forgetfulness can nature devise, or what gangsters of justification can you, God, engage to quiet this compassion which is the faith of my strength, and endure? On her mangledness I am spreading my amorous sheet, but who will have any pride in the wedding red, seeping up between the thighs of love, which rise like a colossus, but whose issue is only the cold semen of grief? Well, wasn't expecting that word to pop up. I'd like to let everyone know I can't say the word thief, throth, and thrive. So, okay, what happened to that paragraph? I don't know. What I'm finding so far, I know I'm only on part 2, but the more I read, like as I get further into the chapter, I seem to understand what's going on. Where at the beginning, I'm really lost. So I don't know if that's like something that everyone else is experiencing, but I'd like to know that. Not God, but bats and a spider who was weaving my guilt, kept the rendezvous with me, and shame copulates with every September housefly. My room echoes with the scream she never uttered, and under my floor the vines of remorse get ready to push up through the damp. The crickets drip remembrance increasingly into my ear, lest I lay any items of cruelty's fiendish inventory. The trap is sprung, and I am the trap. It is not to be eased from my pain which I crave, but when I pray to God to understand my corrupt language and step down for a moment to sit on my broken bench. Will there be a birth from all this blood, or is death only exacting his greedy price? Is an infant struggling in the triangular womb? I am blind, but blood, not love, blinded my eye. That's a sentence. I am blind, but blood, not love, blinded my eye. Love lifted the weapon and guided my crime, locked my limbs when, like a drowning man with the last lifeboat in sight, her anguish rose out of the sea to cry help. And now, over that piercing face, superimposed the cloudy mask of my desire. Okay, so she's placing herself as the image of the wife whose husband she's having the affair with. Okay. I have locked my door, but terror is ambushed outside. The eucalyptus batters the window, and I hear all smitten Europe wailing from the stream below. Malevolent ghosts appear at the back panes, unabashed of the pale crosses of the frame. For now Jesus Christ walks the waters of another planet, bleeding only history from his old wounds. All cries are lost in the confusion of the storm. The coffin of sheep in the lost hills of Dorset, of gassed soldiers, of a 2-year-old child with croup, who knows, roll into one avalanche of calamity, which sounds in the rushing of the stream, and which sounds even underneath the intensive stomp can break a whore's heart. America, with Californian claws, clutches the Pacific, and now she masses her voice with frantic appeal. They roar like Niagara, they shake the synthetic hills. The sand of catastrophe is loosed, and is loosed? Loosed? Is loosed a word? Loosed? The sand of a catastrophe is loosed, and every breast is marked with doom. But the cheating cicada arrives to lie. All's well in God's year, which measures time so generously, and the woodlice are rocking their babies under the log. Anxiety lies still, while his eye makes its vast convulsions on remote and other worlds. And then I force my vanity to stand on the cliff and contemplate self, which only suicide can join. Standing 1,000 feet above the sea, how does my adoring reflection look now, with the fishes of death swimming through its hair? Pearls and bubbles float up from the ocean bed, making a prettier noose for death. The last decorations of self-love ring a rose in the gruesome vision. When we meet and I clasp the deceiver in my arms, our amalgamation will poison the sea, but not tonight. There is no moon. Threateners of life are horrible enough, and she whom I have injured, and whose agony it is in my penalty to watch, lies gasping but still living on the land. Shuddering like a coward, I dare not grasp either life or death from the ghoulish palm that offers them. Okay, we're back at the cliff in part 1. And I know me and Ruby yesterday were talking about, does she do it or does she not? So we're back there contemplating it. Okay. But when we meet and I clasp her this evening in arms, our amalgamation will poison the sea, but not tonight. So is it like a joint suicide? Is that what she's trying to say? Like she wants to like kill them both as like a crime of passion? Is it that? Is it that? Who is the deceiver? I feel as though it's the husband. I feel as though it's her lover. But I don't know. That deceiver in my arms. Or is that the wife? Okay. Under the redwood... Try again. Under the redwood tree, my grave was laid, and I beguiled my true love to lie down. The stream of our kiss put a waterway around the world, where love like a refugee sailed in the last ship. My hair made a shroud and kept the coyotes at bay, while we wrote our ciphers with anatomy. The winds boomed triumph, our spines seemed unburdened, and our bones groaned like old trees, but a smile like a cobweb was fastened across the mouth of the cave of fate. Fear will be a terrible fox at my vitals under my tunic of behaviour. O canary, sing out in the thunderstorm, prove your yellow pride. Give me reason for courage or a way to be brave, but nothing tangible comes to rescue my besieged sanity, and I cannot decipher the code of the eucalyptus thumping on my roof. There is a lot of eucalyptus. I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of eucalyptus in this chapter. I am unnerved by the opponent of God, and God is out of earshot. I must spin good ghosts out of my hope to oppose the hordes at my window. If those who look in see me condensed to barricade the door, they will know too much and crowd in to overcome me. The parchment philosopher has no traffic with the night, and no conception of the price of love. With smoky circles of thought, he tries to combat the fog, and with anagrams to defeat anatomy. I posture in vain with his weapons, even though I am balmed with his nicotine herbs. Moon, moon, rise in the sky to be a reminder of comfort and the hour when I was brave. Okay. I know the moon is a symbol of the feminine. In poetry, it's all about feminine energy. So the fact that the moon's vacant in this chapter, not so much that she's suppressed by the husband and love, but she's kind of in this state of like a purgatory, maybe, like somewhere where she's like in between I mean, there's a lot of imagery in this book. There's a lot of imagery. And I don't think I understand all of it. It's got a very Juna Barnes vibe. If anyone's read Juna Barnes, you'll know exactly what I mean. Possibly like similar to like Gertrude Stein as well. It's just like dense. It's just dense. But in a good way. But the gentle flowers, able to die unceremoniously, remind me of her grief whose tears drown all ghosts. And though I swing in torture from the windiest hill, more angels weep for her whose devastated love runs into all the oceans of the world. What did she cherish as her symbol, and how did she protect herself from panic when her ship pursued the months-old storm? And she fought her cancer, which was her gnawing inward grief for her lost child. I have broken her heart like a robin's egg. Its wreck reached a finite horizon. Oh, no. Oh. So the wife... So the wife had either like a miscarriage or an abortion, and is that why the husband's like looked elsewhere? Because there's some like depression, postpartum depression, or right. Okay, so I don't think she's sad about the affair. I think she's kind of trying to figure out how the wife feels, and that she's kind of like hardened the burden to the wife. Oh gosh. Okay, what was your price, Gabriel, Michael of the ministering wing? What pulley from headlong man pulled you up in the neck of time till you gushed vegetable laughter and fed only off the sun? Was it your reward for wrestling successfully with the despair as this? The tests are meaningless, and they are the enemy's deception. My foot danced by mistake over the helpless, had bled no solace for my butchery. My hurt was not great enough to assuage my guilt. Tell me how to atone, dove in the eucalyptus, who speak with thunder of the future's revenge. Tell me this gush is the herald of my wonder. My heart is its own destructive. It beats at the poisonous rhythm of the truth. A wet wing brushes away the trembling night, and morning breathes cold analysis into my spectre waiting mind. The vines assume their social airs, ingratiating. Come on, Kieran, you can do that. Ingratiating. Ingratiating green. What's that for the start? The vines assume their local airs. Ingratiating. We're just going to say green. The vines assume their social airs. Green with children's fingers. The impotent eucalyptus stands gaunt, but faint as hope and definite as death. My possible phoenix of love is as bright as a totem pole in the morning on the sky, breathing like a workman setting out on a job. Oh, okay. And then there's part 3. Okay. Right. So I feel as though we've learned a bit more about the dynamic of this relationship and the wife's feelings and emotions around this affair that's going on. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that sort of angle. I thought we were going to be with the narrator's viewpoint. The eucalyptus. I don't really know what the eucalyptus is meant to symbolise. I haven't really clicked on that, apart from the dove in the eucalyptus. So obviously the dove is a sign of peace, but what has the eucalyptus got to do with that symbolism? I'm not quite sure, but the fact that it's rattling, it's banging on the windows, and that it's kind of ever present at night as she tries to reconcile her, I wouldn't say grief, but her sorrows and her kind of moral understanding of that situation. I feel as though there's something there. And if you have any ideas, let me know, because I'd be quite keen to figure out that. I think so in the book club, the language is coming up and how it's written. It's very poetic. It's very poetic. It's I quite like that it's not shied away from that fact. I also feel as though I don't think I could read all of this in one. I think it would allow you to think you could read this in one day, but I think this is the type of book where you take each chapter as a day, which is not how I planned I would have read it, but the fact that I'm doing this as a read aloud has definitely helped, and I think you need that time to kind of talk about it, kind of flesh out those ideas. But it's so rich. It's so rich that I think one positive aspect is that no one's going to have the correct answer. No one's going to be able to have the correct answer when it comes to this. It's too deep, which I think would put some people off. But for me, I quite like literature where you can kind of have a back and forth and you can kind of see everyone's viewpoints. Oh, part 2, you've kind of flummoxed me a little bit. And similar to part 1, you've kind of let me, I kind of want to explore this relationship and these emotions more. So overall, I'd say I'm pretty much enjoying this so far. I'm pretty much enjoying it. I don't know what's going to happen at the end, or if we're going to have any conclusion. Based on how poetic this is, I doubt there's going to be a nice little roundup, a nice little bow on top. I think you're going to, similar at the beginning, have more questions than you're going to be given answers. But so far, so good. So yeah, I'll upload this to YouTube now. Again, I am doing this for Bethan's late grandmother, so any donations would be well received by Bethan. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, and we'll read part 3. How fun! Bye!